Are you about to watch this video and you're not liked and subscribed to it? Like the video, please. Just go down. It's right there. It's right there.
I did. I hit it. I hit it. Have you hit it?
Welcome back to Starting 9.
Let's go.
Episode 272. It is the Dallas Braden redemption episode.
What?
But not like it is, but it isn't. It is,
What?
but it isn't.
Yeah, I can't be. I'm not. I'm.
Yeah.
Look.
I know you're a man of integrity. I know you're not going to throw a parade today, but we're there. And before we get into that, check us out on YouTube, Starting 9 on YouTube. We've had early talks about what we're going to be doing for the postseason and the city's Atlanta. Let's go, Bob! We're recording Starting 9 during the Red Sox game, 7 p.m., because the Oakland A's had a day game today in which they almost blew. It was 8-0.
Tried.
And it ended up being 8 unanswered runs for the Oakland A's, followed by 6 unanswered runs by the Detroit Tigers, and that was your final today. So Dallas had a day game today, which means we're recording this at 7 p.m. Eastern, which is right around the time the Boston Red Sox have started their game against the Tampa Bay Rays. So pardon me if I'm emotional during this recording. I'm sure that you can respect it and appreciate it, as you are all baseball fans yourselves. But where we want to start here is not today's baseball games, not the baseball games that are going on right now. We want to talk about the baseball games that happened last night. And I was surprised. Were you awake? Were you watching the game? I didn't see any tweets from you.
I was, but I was tending to some business as a homeowner, even late night duty calls, Jared. Business calls. I'm dealing with preparing an entire home. Look, I got facility issues. When you're a homeowner, Jared, you have to deal with the phone calls. You have to deal with the brickwork, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I don't. I rent.
I know. That's why I'm fully explaining to you. No, but I was. Yeah, I mean, where do you want to start? You want to start with Cole?
No. Why the fuck would we start there? No one cares. Cool, man. You struck out 15. You're the highest paid pitcher in baseball history. That doesn't surprise. That doesn't impress me. You're supposed to do that shit, and he doesn't.
Not impressed. You don't care.
No.
Doesn't matter.
You should be doing that shit all the time. I think that's the first time he's even come close to 15 strikeouts this year. It doesn't impress me.
Are you not worried? Are you not worried about what the Yankees are doing at all? Because it's just not even affecting the Red Sox. I know. It started in Oakland.
Yeah. No, I'm not. No, I'm not even thinking about that. What I am thinking about, there were two games being played last night. The Atlanta Braves were in L.A. playing the Doyers.
Incredible.
And then you had my Milwaukee Brewers, who I think, and here's what I love about this. The Milwaukee Brewers are kind of sneaking out of the, hey, no one's paying attention to us. No one realizes how good we are. People are right now, people are starting to pay attention. People are, and by people, I will say Dodger fans. I've seen more Dodger fans reach out to me being like, hey, keep this between us. But I'm kind of afraid of the Brewers.
So I've got fans. I've got American League fans in general that are asking just how real of a threat the Milwaukee Brewers are.
Really real.
Whether or not, hey, does the winner of the World Series legitimately come out of the National League? Is that... Because it feels like maybe the two of the stronger teams are in the National League, the Brewers being one of those teams that nobody's really thinking about until you start to evaluate the game through the goggles of what the postseason looks like. And everybody's eyes instantly go to, all right, what's pitching look like? Well, again, you start there, and it's really good. It is really, really good. But the fact that they've been able to kind of fly under the radar, that's benefited them. So it's always going to be about, all right, when the lights are a little brighter and the focus is a little more narrow, how do things turn out? That's going to be the question.
I can't wait. I can't wait till the playoffs. I can't wait to see what my Milwaukee Brewers
Well,
do
here.
to these unsuspecting cucks in Major League Baseball?
So you want to talk about the game last night? Because like for me,
Which game?
Well, which one? You want to talk about the Dodger game?
Let's start there. Because there was a little bit of a concern. Max Scherzer, I believe he went 6 shut, 3 hits, 9 strikeouts, 76 pitches, and then was lifted from that game after 6 innings.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw a lot of Dodger fans were demanding that Dave Roberts be fired in the middle of the game. And then we find out after the game that he had a hammy issue that he felt in the first and was battling throughout the game, and then kind of removed himself from the game after the 6th inning. And then we saw Brusdar Graterol go in, give up the 2-run bomb to tie it. And by the way, I just wanted to address this on the podcast. I don't know if you saw this shitstorm. So Brusdar Graterol, I don't know if you've seen after every appearance, he comes off the mound and he like does like the little like the Sammy Sosa thing, but then he does like this big like fist pump. And I was like, after he gave it the 2-run home run, I was like, that would drive me crazy. I was like, I know that he does it after every appearance, but it would drive me crazy if I were a Dodger fan seeing that after giving up a game-tying 2-run bomb. And then just like a bunch of Dodger fans like, that's for his brother that passed away. His brother passed away. That's how he honors his brother. And I was like, do you think that I would criticize that celebration knowing that information? Like, they were just like straight up be like, you fucking asshole, that's for his brother. I'm like, do you think that I knew that? No. And then they were like, well, if you did your job, you would Google it, research. Why would anyone research the meaning behind a fist pump after a reliever completes an inning? Who is sitting there being like, I just want to double check to make sure that this isn't to honor a dead relative. Like, I just want to double check. It's a fist pump, dude. What? He's not pointing to the sky. He's doing he literally goes, boom. Like, that's not like, no. The Dodger fans that were jumping on me, fuck you back. Fuck you back. I didn't know. My bad. But why would anyone think that is a tribute to a dead relative?
Well, it's not like that specific emotion or that specific gesture indicates that. No, you're right.
No, not at all.
I'll say this: like, it's Fernando Rodney. Fernando Rodney is a dude who has caught
for his
shit
dad.
Right, his entire career for his hat, and. Like, I've had several instances where I have educated people on why he is wearing his hat the way he wears his hat. And, like, not only for his dad, but why and what it represents. And so, like, there's little backstories to stuff like that. And you do walk a slippery slope when you're gonna chime in on shit like that. But to your point, like, a aggressive fist pump to the sky, like what that represents.
Yeah.
And like,
it's a celebration. It's not like they're like Pedro Martinez used to walk off the mound and like point to the sky. Like, he would do that even if he just gave up a bomb or something and he's getting the hook. Like, he's like thanking God. Great. Like, no problem.
It's tough. It's a tough spot to be. You start talking about shit like that because you never know. You never know what the meaning behind it is. And that is always the end result is you say something and people that have been following this individual from the time they were, like playing two and under you travel ball, like they know everything about this person.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing as well, is that there were a lot of Dodger fans that responded and were like, yeah, it annoys me too. It's like a lot of Dodger fans don't even know what it means. And I think if there's some sort of like gesture towards the sky that, like, of course you're going to be like, all right, that's for God or like a family member or a friend or something. An aggressive fist pump, the last thing that you're thinking is that they're honoring a fallen family member.
Do you remember do you remember my God, I'm laughing, but it's not funny. It's just like fucking ridiculous to think about what Bob Costas said
Oh yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you can-
It's like you can only hope that he's looking towards the heaven at some dead relative
some dear
begging for
departed
forgiveness.
relative. Like, Jesus, man.
Bob Costas don't give a fuck.
No, they're. I mean, I knew Bob Costas. I knew Bob Costas didn't give a fuck when he showed up to call the Olympics or whatever it was with an eyeball
Pink
that
eye.
looked like he had pulled it directly out of a rectum.
Mm-hmm.
That's how bad the pink eye was. Like,
Yeah, it's bad.
oh
Yeah.
man, yeah, that's a fucking warrior move though. Absolute savage.
Yeah. So, anyways, all that to say that Max Scherzer was pulled after 76 pitches. Gratterall gives up the 2-run bomb. Then we got a tie game. Dansby Swanson hits a homer, but the Dodgers battle back. They win that ball game.
Trey Turner. Can we
And-
talk about the fucking ball that Trey Turner hit just for a quick second?
What, the dinky one?
No, the single
It was a
late
dinky.
in the 8th inning.
Wasn't it like a dinky grounder to short that he beat out?
Yeah, but where it was at his face.
Oh, yeah.
It's like at his face.
Yeah.
But it's just great that Trey Turner, again, addition,
Difference maker.
making an impact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm tired of, like, the Dodgers are buying a World Series, man. They're buying one. Like, no. If you have the owners, like like all the people that are whining about the Dodgers buying a World Series, you wish your owners spent that much money on your baseball team. If your owners had the ability to spend that much, would you really be vocal and saying, like, all right, we have all this money to spend, but, like, find other ways to build a roster.
I've
Don't
never
just like
heard-
spend all the money. Like, no one fucking says that. If you can spend it, spend it.
I've never heard a fan base go, you know what? You know what I would trade? I would trade that World Series we just won for the idea that in like 4 to 5 years, we're going to have a really competitive club that we've grown all on our own.
Mm-hmm.
That has never been said, ever.
But, like, that doesn't even, like, happen. There's no
No,
such thing.
But that's part of the
as-
business.
Yeah.
Players
Anyways,
are resources. You have to use and exchange resources to grow your business, to be successful in business. That's exactly what has to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, the old saying, one man's trash is another man's treasure. Well, based on where you're at in the standings is kind of what determines the value of your resources. And so if you've got some things that you can do without, and there's some folks who are not in a very good position but are looking towards the future, well, they may value some things that you don't necessarily have the same worth for and or need for. And so that's just how that works. And that's cyclical. We know that. That's baseball.
Yeah. Dallas pop quiz.
What do you got, Hotshot?
2.35 ERA, 0.94 WHIP, 11.59 strikeouts per 9. Who's that pitcher?
Walker Buehler.
So the front runner for the National League Cy Young Award, would you say?
Yeah.
Let me just repeat those numbers. 2.35 ERA, 2.49 FIP, 0.94 WHIP, 11.59 strikeouts per 9.
What'd you say? Well, a 4.9 FIP?
2.49 FIP.
Oh, I thought I heard of yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean-
Starter, obviously.
Starter, yep. I mean, let's just go with Walker Buehler. You guessed the front runner for the National League Cy Young Award.
Well, that was
That's
just
who
right
your
off the
guess
top
was.
of my head.
Yeah, that was where your mind went. Your mind went to the best of the best. The answer is that it's a trick question. Those numbers, Corbin Burns, Brandon Woodruff, and Freddie Peralta combined this year.
Okay. Well, there's a reason that takes me to a Cy Young contender or Cy Young worthy candidate is because, one, Corbin Burns is just that. But that goes to the point that we've been making and what I was talking about earlier about how when you start to think about what the postseason looks like and how those games and those series look like, well, you automatically go to what's being done on the mound. That's where you know the difference gets made. Is can you keep that other team's lineup off the board? Because you know that the approach changes offensively, but what changes on the mound? Nothing really. You still got to get those outs, and now swing and miss and dominance becomes even more valuable.
Mm-hmm.
So the 11+ K per 9, I like your odds in the first 3 games out of a 5-game series.
Yeah. And we'll be there. We'll be there, Dallas.
We will absolutely be there. That's because that's where it's going down. As
That's
much
where
as
it's
we
going down. The road to the World Series goes through Milwaukee. I'm actually going to make that T-shirt.
The road to the series goes through Milwaukee.
Yep. The road to the World Series goes through Milwaukee.
Milwaukee merch on deck. Yeah,
We need to get our fucking heads together for the merge game. I mean, like now's the time. Now's the time to start putting out some merch for the playoffs. I mean, some of these teams, they know that they're going to be there. Milwaukee is one of them. By the way, after their win last night, they lost today.
In a let's not just gloss over the loss. Fairly devastating fashion.
Devastating?
I mean, Devin Williams had probably the worst inning of his career.
It wasn't great.
Tyro Estrada came up for the Giants. Guy hasn't hit a homer in a fucking month.
Mm-hmm.
Over
a four run 8th inning.
Hit a 3-run jack.
Yep.
Not great. I think Austin Slater. I think Austin Slater reached. I forgot how he reached, but then Darren Ruff torched a double. It just wasn't good.
Yeah, 4 run 8th for the San Francisco Giants. They take that game, and at the time last night, the Milwaukee Brewers had moved to 30 games above 500. So, shout out to the Brew Crew. You don't want to see us in October. Do you have any thoughts on the Brewers?
No, I mean my
Just
my
say
stance.
it. Say it. Say the road to the World Series goes through Milwaukee. Say that.
I don't know that that's true.
Say it.
I can't say that.
Because I've heard Dodger fans saying that they're scared of the Brewers. I haven't heard a single Brewers fan say that they're scared of the Dodgers. I'm not scared of the Dodgers.
Well, I don't know why the Brewers would be
scared of
concerning
anybody.
themselves. What's that?
Be scared of anybody. You're right.
No, I didn't say that.
It sounded like that's where
what
you
I
were
was
going.
saying.
That's exactly what it sounded
At
like you
all.
were saying.
Yeah, I mean, look, over the course of a series,
Mm-hmm.
all it takes is for one of those starters for the Brewers to stumble.
And then
And
you
now
still have
you're
2
in-
more aces. You're right. It's an embarrassment of riches.
No. When I say stumble, I mean now you're into that pin early. And
It's a good
the
bullpen.
depth of the Dodgers, like they're not afraid. They'll throw a fucking bullpen game at you.
That's fine. Milwaukee Brewers will put up runs.
Well, that's the give and take.
Mm-hmm.
Is the 2 staffs.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're taking the Milwaukee Brewers pitching staff right now over anybody else's in the National League.
Probably in baseball, right?
I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know that there's another
No,
staff from top to bottom.
there isn't.
So from there, it's about who you think has
Like you would probably pick the Dodgers if they still had Bauer and Dustin May.
Well, yeah, but I mean that
But
hasn't
not
been the case.
Those
Yeah,
are
and
2
that hasn't been the case.
100% not happening.
Won't be the case.
No. There's
So
no
from there,
ifs
you
or
go to
maybes.
I think about the depth of lineup from there.
I mean, the Dodgers have a fucking like Will Smith
There's
hitting
no-
8th with 23, 24 bombs.
It's relentless. It
Yeah.
is relentless.
Yeah.
So
Dodgers lineup is a check.
Yeah.
But the Brewers rotation, check. And the Brewers bullpen, check. And by the way, I can't believe that Dodger fans booed Kenley Jansen this year. He's been fucking great. And not only that, they like preemptively booed him. There was one, he had like a rough stretch of, it was like 4 out of 5 or something like that, 3 out of 4. And then he's like trying to find his way. And they They like booed him before the inning started. He's like warming up, and they're just like booing him. Like, dude, what are you doing? This guy won you a fucking World Series. He's been great. He's a staple in L.A. He's a great guy, and all he needs is, give him like a week to figure his shit out, and he did. He's figured it out. He's been awesome. I mean, it's not like he's out there mowing guys down, but he gets outs, and they're not like
it's a lot of pent up aggression.
It's not a ton of like heart attack situations either. I mean, of course, those have existed. They've existed, but like recently, give Kelly some fucking love.
Well, and I don't know that bullpen matchup is just a auto guarantee tip of the cap to the Brewers.
No, I mean Blake
Dodgers
Trinan,
are right there.
If not, hey, remember Blake Trinan?
Slightly better.
You remember?
What?
Ooh, you like Blake Trinan?
Do I like Blake Trinan? How do you not love Blake Trinan?
I like him.
I
like him a lot.
Like, he might have the most disgusting stuff in baseball.
I would be hard pressed to find someone else who has more disgusting stuff. Yeah,
his shit is ridiculous, and the dude has only gotten better, I feel like, as he's continued to unlock things in LA.
Yeah, I mean, during the sticky stuff era, he was obviously one of the guys that stood out a lot, but I think post sticky stuff era, he stands out even more because you're seeing less guys being able to perform witchcraft on their pitches without the sticky shit. And Blake Trinan is just still out there making baseballs move in ways that they're just simply not supposed to move.
Oh, he's throwing blitz balls. He is pitching with blitz balls.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
With everything. It's not even like his four-seam fastball is not even straight.
Oh no, he has to try to cut the ball when he's throwing a four-seam fastball to try to get it to stay true. And even then, there's life on it.
Yeah. It's preposterous. Have you noticed that more and more teams are telling their pitchers to ditch their two-seamers?
Oh, well, that's been something that teams have been trying to identify. And this is where analytics comes into play, okay? Is understanding what the spin rate means to guys that have high spin fastballs but aren't lighting up the radar gun velocity-wise. Mm-hmm. They're understanding, okay, you can still get outs up here, but in order to do that, that's got to be with the four-seamer because naturally the two-seamer is going to create some movement here.
Yeah.
It doesn't stay as true. So you're going to get some run, you're going to get some sink, and we're trying to stay as true as possible up top because you're fighting gravity. So you want that ball flight to be as true and as straight as possible if you're going to be elevating the ball up there so as to keep the eye level at a certain spot, right? A certain elevation. Well, because sinkers had ruled the day for so long, sinker-slider combination, sinker-cutter combos, guys started trying to lift those sinker ballers. And that's where the era of identifying launch angle and creating a different attack point on the baseball started to become of value. And learning how to do so became valuable. Why? Because hitters had to try to combat the sinker era, the slider era, the cutter era. And how do we do that? Well, we try to get under and try to lift these fuckers.
Launch it.
Okay. How do pitchers combat you getting to my sinker now? I got to straighten this thing out, and now I'm attacking the complete opposite end of the strike zone. I've been sinking it low, getting you to try to hit balls that ultimately end up 2 inches down and out of the strike zone because they're starting about an inch or so in the strike zone, but by the time it gets to you with my sink, it's out, and now you're beating balls into the dirt. Well, because you've made the adjustment, I now flip the script and go to the complete opposite end of the spectrum, the complete opposite end of the strike zone. Up top, little to no movement if I can, just spin the fuck out of this thing and step on the gas pedal.
Yep.
So that's been something that once we've been able to identify why you can get the swing and miss up top, they've been doing that. And it's just about guys not knowing how to command a ball that moves either. Like the sinker, you got to be able to play for play for the movement. Know where it's going to end up. And sometimes you just feel really good. Shit starts moving. Sometimes you feel too good. You throw through the movement. There's a lot of different reasons guys try to get or organizations will tap a guy and say, hey, why don't we turn this over, grab a couple more seams, and just fucking let it eat.
Before we move on, I think a lot of people tune into this podcast because they were waiting for the Dallas Braden victory speech, which I don't think we're going to get today. I don't think we're going to get some sort of victory speech. The Dodgers play in about about an hour from now. The Dodgers don't play tonight.
No, Dodgers will play tomorrow. Dodgers and the Giants open up a 3-game series tomorrow as two teams
in San
tied
Francisco
for the National League West.
Yes, tied.
And no, you're right. You're not going to get and what I'll say is I'm not going to let the Giants fans hijack the narrative here, because the narrative has always been that you weren't that fucking good. All right? That's what the narrative has always been. That's what my narrative has always been. I've been telling you, you've been living a lie. You've been living a lie. You think you're the division leader? That's fine. That's hey, all good. You know it ain't true. I know it ain't true. That's what I've been saying.
It is true.
The entire time. Statistically, Jared, you are absolutely accurate and correct. Statistically, they have not only been the division leader, like they've been the landlord of the division. There's no
baseball.
There's no other way to look at it. Absolutely.
We're talking
Best
about
record in
the
baseball.
agree or disagree? Best division in baseball?
The NL West?
Yes.
Ooh. I mean, we're putting a lot of stock in the Dodgers and the Giants there because the Padres have kind of struggled.
Well, yeah, the Padres have struggled, but they're also, I believe they're in a playoff spot, right? Like right now?
Wild card, yeah. Wild card 2, or are they just out?
Ooh, they're a half game out.
Yeah, the Padres, or not Padres, the Cardinals.
Padres are half game behind the Reds right now. So that counts.
So yeah, yes, a very strong division, possibly the strongest. Mm-hmm. But the entire narrative has been that nobody that's been giving me shit this entire time during this season, nobody expected what they've gotten from the Giants. And the minute you start to tell me otherwise is the minute that I just can't hear you any longer. I just can't do it. Because
in regards to expectations?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I think Giants fans would tell you that.
No, that's the problem. That's the problem. Is
that they're using it as a crutch.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Jared. I know moving companies that haven't moved goalposts as much and as often as some of these Giants fans that I interact with. Oh, God, it's disgusting. Yeah, the minute that they started to get hot and started to play well, and then you start to realize, you know what? Yeah, they're actually, I mean, you know, and we don't need to beat this horse again, but it is what it is when you get career years out of veterans that you were like all but had tied to the tree out back. Like you were just cleaning the old shotgun. And, you know, old Yeller and company showed you they had a little fight left in them. And hey, to the credit of those folks. But again, you're not going to sit here and tell me you saw that coming. That's what just will not happen. So, no, this isn't a victory. No, what? Because was I out on any limb telling you that at the beginning of the year that it was Dodgers? Everybody thought the same thing. So it's not crazy. No, I wasn't making some, like, crazy statement. Oh, wow, real bold. You're picking the fucking Dodgers. This is all after the Giants have been the best team in baseball for quite some time. I expected the turnaround. I expected the turnaround 2 weeks ago, and it didn't happen. So I'm 2 weeks late to me telling you that the Giants would no longer be in first place or wouldn't be as far out in first place as you are at that moment in time. That's all that
also, was. The thing about the Giants, too, is that, I mean, not that, like, this has been your storyline, not not my storyline, but I saw people trying to old takes expose me last night because I think I said back in May that the Giants feel like a team of destiny. And when they fell out of first place on fucking September 1st, there were Dodger fans being like, oh, old takes exposed. Like, first of all, me identifying in early May that the Giants were going to have a good year, pretty good. Second of all, they have what, a 13.5 game lead on. Yeah, they're up 13.5 games on Cincinnati. So they will be playing in the wild card game if they don't go on to win the division. You can very much still be a team of destiny if you don't win the division because the Giants have already proven that. The Giants have already won a World Series as a wild card team. So,
well, this
pump the brakes on that.
Specifically, and this is where, like, I hope Giants fans are able to separate their anger from all the shit I've talked and listen to what I'm about to say. Because you, in your heart of hearts, as Giants fans, were saddled up and ready to ride out a fourth-place season, because that was maybe the outlook, third, fourth place, like, and that's not the case. You could absolutely be a team of destiny. That's what that kind of means, is we had no expectations coming into this, just trying to figure some stuff out. But you know what? Everything has kind of fell into place. The pitchers that we've signed up they pitched their ass off. The veterans are playing like they're 22 years old again. Like, damn, it feels like even the new guys who were given some opportunities to, they're starting to take advantage of them. Like, all of this shit is starting to fall in place all at the right time. Wow. Yeah, so that's okay. Like, just because you perform doesn't mean you shake that title or shake that, you know, sort of how you fit into that framework of, well, we didn't expect this team to be doing this, and now they are. Kind of feels like destiny's on their side. But I don't know. It's, you know, when I hear the destiny thing, I almost feel like, wow, what have the Giants battled? What's been so tough for them that is like, wow, they've really persevered through what?
You know what's been tough?
Shitty?
You know what's been tough for the Giants, Dallas?
What?
People like you. People like you that didn't believe in them. People like you that said that they couldn't do it. People like you who waited for them to fail.
Oh, no, I didn't wait for them to fail. Not at all. That's why I'm getting the arrows I'm getting. That's because it was right in the middle of their like, oh, yeah, guess who's hot? No, you know what? Fuck you. You're not that good. That's exactly what I did. I just let it be known early. And that's what pissed them off, is they were like, no, we've been good, and we are good, and we're going to keep being good, and you're going to kiss our ass all the way to do a division title. Okay.
All right,
What'd
so
I tell you?
let's talk about it then. 13.5 games up on the Cincinnati Reds, 14 games up on the Padres. They're going to the postseason. Whether they win the division or they win the wild card, they will play in October.
Yes.
Do you, Dallas Braden,
Can I
have the fucking balls to say that the San Francisco Giants have a 0% chance of playing in the NLCS in 2021? Is that what you're going to say? They have no shot. Are you saying that there's no fucking chance that we'll see the San Francisco Giants in the NLCS? If they're not that good, I mean, like, look at it, like DeSclafani's been struggling. Gosman lost against the Brewers. I mean, they're just not that good, Dallas, right? There's no fucking way they're going to make it to the NLCS.
Your words, not mine.
No, I'm repeating what you just said.
I don't think that's the case.
Yeah.
I don't think I spoke any of those words.
So, what would you put the percentage? Give me a number.
Less than optimal.
That's not a number. Those are words.
Yeah, it's under.
You're telling me right now that it's like 12%?
I'm telling you it ain't 50%.
Okay, that's not very ballsy of you. You're telling me there's an 11% chance that the Giants make it to the NLCS. Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm just
Lower?
Yeah, I don't know that the Giants are gonna. I mean,
9%. Jeez.
Are they sputtering right now? They're playing 500 baseball over their last 10 games, 2 weeks or so.
I mean, they here the
They
line
just
of
had
the line of the night last night. The Giants didn't run into a wall; they ran into the Brew Crew. No, this is the Brewers are fucking for real, and you know it.
Jared, they just left the Brewers standing on the field with a dick in their hand.
Yeah, that was a day game after a night game.
No, it's a baseball game.
Yeah, it's the same sport, but you know better than anybody that there is a different. It's a different feel when you play a day game after a night game. You want to play with the big boys? We'll see you at fucking 7:00.
Well, they got a big boy out there. They got the Airbender out there, and they bent him over and delivered
you know what that was?
The worst fucking outing of his career.
They didn't want to show him his best.
Well, no, and that's what the Giants did. They were like, all right, we see your Airbender throwing his best pitch.
Little change.
We're gonna counter with a right-hander who hasn't hit a homer in a month.
Yeah.
Devin Williams, I believe that was only the second home run he's given up to a right-handed hitter all year.
Yeah, it's not even his best. It's the best in the league. You're not going to see a better changeup from any, not just like right-handed pitcher, just any pitcher in general. You're not going to see a better one.
Joey Lucchesi. Souvenir City went that Airbender. It's tough.
Anything about KD hitting a double down the line today that should have been an inside the park home run?
It couldn't have been in the inside the park home run. It was tough.
Could have been. It wasn't lodged in there. You could have got it.
Well, I think only being able to see half the baseball is what determined it being lodged. Mm-hmm. So you would have had to search for it, and when you start doing that, to your point, KD could have kept his ass running. Look, I said this when we were even kicking the idea around of Chris Davis coming up to the A's, like what's he going to do? There's nowhere for him defensively. That's just a fact, especially when you have a team with the kind of utilitarian athletes the A's have. Really tough to see putting KD in anywhere defensively when you have any one of those guys on the bench. So I think it was a great move by Bob Melvin to find a spot to land him. You got a nice lead, facing a lefty. Jed Lowry, you're able to lift him with the lead. You can plug guys in defensively. KD wraps a double down the line. First pitch slider. First pitch
you feel anything?
What's that?
Did it make you feel anything?
A little bit, because it's like a 10-day contract with Mitch Moreland on the injured list, and you're only allowed to bring up 2 guys in September. It's like a 10-day contract in the NBA. What are you going to do? What can you give the club right now? And when we throw you in there, what's going to be the result? What does it look like? So, I mean, aside from hitting a homer, that was the best it could have gone. Get yourself up there early, get a knock, get it going. Fucking huge. Huge.
Look at that.
Got himself another knock later in the ball game.
Yeah.
Get a couple knocks.
I only asked you about the first one. Gosling's Rum, with its Bermudian values, motivates people to take. I'm actually wearing a Gosling's Rum T-shirt right now. Look at that.
Whoa, how about that?
Yeah, how about that? The fuck? Gosling's Rum, with its Bermudian values, motivates people to take time to stop and smell the roses, to step away from the rat race and be happy. Family owned and operated since 1806, Gosling's Rum is the spirit of Bermuda, and the Dark and Stormy is Bermuda's national drink. The name Dark and Stormy was said to have originated around the 1920s when an old fisherman observed that the drink was the color of a cloud only a fool or a dead man would sail under.
Oh, no.
Gosling's makes it even easier, as they have ready-to-drink Dark and Stormy canned cocktails. It's 100% authentic with no malt base. It's just Gosling's Black Seal Rum and Gosling's Stormy Ginger Beer, ready to go. Find it in your local liquor store's fridge or premium cocktail aisle. Goslings is the official rum of the Boston Red Sox, and they offer a limited release Red Sox edition Fenway Green Dark and Stormy can available at Fenway Park and at liquor stores in New England. On reservebar.com, receive $15 off your first order of any Goslings product with the promo code Barstool. Okay. We got to do a little check-in with the MVP races.
In the NL, because that's the only race to speak of.
And the Cy Young Awards. I can't believe that there are even odds for other people.
God. Like, what
Why
are you
would you even
thinking?
give odds on names? Like, it's got to be like Shohei versus the field.
Yeah. Like, Shohei's going to have to pull 7 hamstrings, and Vlad Guerrero's going to have to hit 4 homers a day for the rest of the year.
I think I'm comfortable in saying on September 2nd that if Shohei, God forbid, were to be out for the remainder of the year, that he would still win the MVP award. Fair or
Yes.
unfair?
Yeah. Not even, like, yes.
Because, I mean, like, who's going to pass? Like, even if, like, what is it? Salvador Perez is, like, right behind him.
Well,
if
that's the thing is
Salvi passes
it's
him
not
in
about
homers, like,
just
does that
the-
really make him less valuable? No.
That's the best part about this, man. That's the best part about this argument here. For MVP for Shohei Ohtani is you don't get to just ignore one full aspect of his performance. That's the best part about Ohtani being considered for this award, Jared. Go ahead, just pick a name, because you've got a list right there in front of you of names. Pick one name on that list. Just say the name.
Marcus Simeon.
What's his fucking ERA? How many games he start for the fucking Jays? Is Marcus Simeon in the Cy Young conversation? Go fuck yourself. Give me another name.
Where do you have Shohei Ohtani finishing in the Cy Young?
I that's not the conversation we're having. That's the side
Okay.
conversation.
All right,
Give me
Rafael
another name.
Devers.
Rafael Devers?
Mm-hmm.
Great player. Love his defense. Extremely valuable to the ball club. We're talking about this guy possibly being able to play shortstop for the fucking Sox.
Mm-hmm.
Nowhere near the Caper 9 of Ohtani.
That's probably true.
Nowhere near it.
What about Matty O? You gonna talk some shit about your boy?
I mean, I could applaud Matt Olson until the cows come home.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Olson has never, ever gone 7 shots strong, punched out 10, 12. Like, that's just
I
never
bet
fucking
you he
happened.
has. Just probably not in the big leagues.
That's just never happened. Not in the big leagues. Not
No.
while also leading the big leagues in home runs, slugging, total bases. Like, no, that's just never. So that's the point, though. And you can't be so angry at it as a naysayer that you blindly try to ignore an entire separate body of work that absolutely factors in to how valuable a player is. And this is why he's the most valuable player in the league, is because nobody in the league provides their team, how good they do, how bad they do, or how average they do, with the kind of value that he provides his team. He's the best player on the best team. He's the best player on the worst team. He's the best player in the fucking game. There's no other way to look at it, man. There's just not. And if you ever want to throw the name Mike Trout at me, I'll throw the same fucking question right back in your face. How many times you tabbing that motherfucker to square off for you on the mound, let's say in a wild card game, got to get you into the postseason, or a game 7, we're bringing a ship back to the fucking Big A. How many games again, Jared? I didn't hear you. Say 0 louder for the folks in the back.
I don't even think Mike Trout plays baseball anymore, if we're being honest.
Well, he's probably not going to play another game of baseball for the rest of the year, which is
Why
heartbreaking.
would you at this point?
Point
For what?
taken. Point taken.
And I kind of got crucified for saying it before, but like, I didn't really miss him
No,
Like-
and you know why?
because Shohei Ohtani is way better.
Because Shohei Ohtani has been shoving chicken finger after chicken finger down your fucking gullet for the entire baseball season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know?
You look
Mike
like a
Trout's last
chipmunk
game
with
played?
36 too many nuts in his mouth trying to head back home and store shit for the wintertime. You, my friend, have a stomach that was just nowhere near capable of handling what your eyes were telling it.
Do you know the date of the last time Mike Trout played a Major League Baseball game?
Early May?
May 17th.
Okay, yeah.
May 17th. And, like, I mean, I can say this. There has been a glaring hole for me without Ronald Acuna Jr. Like, I feel that. And when Fernando Tatis Jr. has been hurt, a handful of times this year and he's on the shelf, that is noticeable to me. Like, when I am turning on these TVs and deciding, like, which game is going to get put on in a premium spot, which team is going to make the cut for being on a TV at all, like, I don't even, like,
So,
you don't even, like, think about Mike Trout. You're just like, but
you know what?
would notice
I'm sure,
that, like, I would be deterred from watching, like, a Padres game if I know that, like, Tatis is hurt. I'm like, like, maybe I could use that screen for somebody else.
I would like to know, and I'm sure you could find this out. I'm sure there's somebody who could figure this out. But how many times the replay of Fernando Tatis sliding into second and then basically ending up in the splits?
Yeah.
How many times that replay has been played compared to the ridiculous home run robbery catch of Mike Trout?
Yeah.
I bet they're comparable.
Yeah.
And the point is, a simple slide into second that just looks really fucking cool because Tatis himself looks really cool because he's tall, long, lean, athletic, sweet hair. Just looks cool on a baseball field. Like, Mike Trout doesn't check any of those boxes. So it's the overall greatness that you step back from at the end of each year and are like, fucking Trout again. Like, again. This dude just... He's the greatest so quietly. Like, it's incredible. That's how you evaluate Trout. Every time Fernando Tatis Jr. or a guy like Acuna Jr. does something, because Acuna Jr., look, he's got you excited. Why? Because unless your ass is in the seat early at SunTrust, like, that score might be 1-0 come time the Braves hit before you even get to the guy in the 2-hole. Acuna is exciting from first pitch. And neither one of those dudes have a similar personality to Mike Trout. Like, you just don't. Those are different cats, man.
Yeah. Now that we're talking about it, like, I remember some of, like, the clapbacks that I was getting for the Mike Trout take when I was like, I don't even really miss him that much. People were like, you just don't like Mike Trout because he won't come on your podcast. Dallas, how many times has Shohei Ohtani been on this podcast?
None. I did have to beat Shohei away for the whole photo op thing until he was done with BP. He was like, look, dude, you're an all-star. Guys are like, I'll take the photo. I'll be ready.
Right.
So, like, that's happened.
Mm-hmm.
But no, we haven't. Our schedules just haven't been able to line up and get him on.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, zero times.
Never had Acuna on.
Nope.
Never had Vladdy on.
Have not.
Have never had Tatis on.
No, we haven't.
That's pretty much the entire bracket for, like, faces of baseball, too. We did have Bryce Harper on, who I still think, by the way, doesn't get enough credit. And when I threw a tweet out basically saying Bryce Harper does not get appreciated enough for how good of a hitter he is. And then some of the responses were, well, yeah, he gets, like, have you seen his contract? I'm pretty sure he's been appreciated. That's not what I meant. I meant by the fans. Like, do fans, when we have these conversations about that tier of player, the Mike Trouts and the Tatises and the Vladdies and the Acuñas and the Sotos, why?
Hold on. I got to stop you before you go any further because you just put all of those names in the same category.
Not as Mike Trout. Mike Trout's
okay.
In it. I'm not even. I'm talking about like stardom, not ability or talent. Stardom. Like, those are the game's top stars with Shohei, of course.
What's happened, in my opinion, with fans and Bryce Harper is, for the longest time, those careers were being compared, right? Trout, Harper, who's better early on, and that conversation is taking care of itself. And, like, many of us thought it would. So now it feels like the fans are sort of stuck either appreciating a guy who's not Mike Trout, and they're almost ashamed to still be proud of Bryce Harper. Like, what? Like, why can't? Like, the dude is still the guy who was the prodigy. Like, this guy was still the second coming of Jesus on a baseball field. Like, don't forget that. Don't forget the fact that I think he has lived up to the hype and to the expectation. Problem is, again, the Trout comparison started to happen, and you almost started to elevate the expectation of Bryce Harper because of what Trout was doing, and you're saying, well, if he was this good as an amateur and we loved him that much, then why can't he be this savior that Mike Trout apparently is going to be, which hasn't unfolded in a fucking decade in Anaheim, which means it's been a total waste of time in Anaheim with Mike Trout, which is why I have the stance of getting Shohei Ohtani the fuck out of the Big A sooner rather than later, because it would be better for baseball. And even Angels fans, in the heart of their hearts, deep down inside, they want him to do well as well, and they don't want him to be wasted in Anaheim.
It is weird to look at the MVP betting odds and not see Mike Trout's name as an option there.
Even when he's missed, like, because it feels like in moments past, like, even with Mike Trout out like a month and a half, still in the vote, still in the convo, maybe even still a favorite at times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very
Yeah,
weird.
I want to say, what was it the year that he got hurt and played like 110 games and he still finished, what, fourth?
Yeah. But right now, the odds, we'll just go through them real quickly for the AL.
He played
AL
114 games in 2017 and he finished fourth.
114 games?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, finished fourth. 114 games, finished fourth. Have a fucking year.
Yeah.
It was 2 months. But Shohei laying 3,000 right now. So odds on favorite. Vlad Cakes Jr., a plus 1,500 dog. Devers plus 6,600. So is Simeon. So is Matt Olson. Then the NL MVP looks a little different. And this is where I still don't know how much of a conversation it is. Tatis Jr. laying 275. So he's your favorite at minus 275. You got Max plus 850 dog. Freddie plus 900. Bryce Harper, he's at plus 1,200. Joey Votto and Trey Turner each plus 2,000. I believe there's some value in that Max Muncy bet.
Yeah, I was going to say that too.
I believe there's some value in that Max Muncy bet.
Definitely
Plus
is.
850. And fuck it, even for Freddie, why not? If you got an extra bill, say your girl stayed late, worked a few extra songs down there at the Cherry Bomb, absolutely. Just swipe a fucking hundo out of the coin purse. I mean, you're borrowing it. Let's be real. You let her supersize last night.
Yeah.
You're borrowing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Get crazy. Max Muncy. What's Muncy? I believe Muncy is actually 800 on the Barstool Sportsbook. Shout out to Barstool Sportsbook. And I believe Freddie Freeman and Harper both are 850, plus 850. So there might be some value there in that NL MVP bet. AL Cy Young Award, Jared. Who was your
My
who was your
preseason
bet?
pick?
Or who was your preseason pick? Did you say Giolito?
No. Fuck, I don't recall. Who the fuck did I have for Cy Young in the American League?
I'm not sure. But as it sits right now, the favorite, the lead stallion in the stable, Gerrit Cole, and he's sitting at minus 200. And then my pick for the AL Cy Young, which has taken a hit, and I believe this to be the fatal blow for Lance Lynn in his hopes for a Cy Young push, who has just hit the injured list. He was sitting at plus 175, so that's just dead money. Just don't. Take that money that you were going to spend on that and get crazy on that Freddie plus 850 bet with Max. But the value, this is where the value kicks in. This is where you put your money. Robbie Ray.
Robbie Ray, huh?
Robbie Ray is sitting at plus 400 right now.
Huh.
Plus 400. 400 dog. Carlos Rodon. Robbie Ray has got the body of work, Carrabis. And while Garrett Cole, favorite, I think the dominance numbers are going to separate him a little bit. You never know. You just never know. With some manipulation of their rotation, I believe Robbie Ray, and this is where it gets crazy with Robbie Ray, if you just, and this is me just kind of glancing at it very quickly. I didn't have time to, I didn't even write anything down. I was just looking at the schedule, trying to put it together. They could manipulate the rotation where Robbie Ray avoids the New York Yankees. Don't know that you'd want to do that, right? This is a team game, Jared. It's a team game, and we're not in about it. We're not in it for the personal accolades. Jays are thinking, look, we're only 4 or 5 out in the wild card. Mm-hmm. Who knows? We win some games against the Yankees because they're going to see him a few times. Robbie Ray could pitch multiple times against the Yankees. That could very well change. He could be pitching multiple times against a team like the Baltimore Orioles. And should that be the case down the stretch, you really like Robbie Ray's chances of bolstering some of those numbers that have him amongst the Cy Young favorites. So plus 400 for Robbie Ray with a schedule that looks like it could potentially favor him.
I do like that pick a little bit.
Depending on how the Blue Jays navigate here.
Especially if you're a voter, right? I mean, like, the baseball voters are big time sticklers, and you're not gonna, like, there are a lot of them that don't vote players in that took steroids to the Hall of Fame. How could you,
oh God,
in good faith, vote for Gerrit Cole for Cy Young in a season that he openly admitted to cheating in? Like, let's be serious.
Oh.
Gerrit Cole, it told you that he cheated this year.
Lots of other pitchers did too.
Lots of other pitchers did too, but Gerrit Cole told you he did.
Well, I mean, lots of other pitchers told you they did too, in so many words, same kind of way that.
I think that it's totally different when you're talking about pitchers that use sunscreen and rosin and pitchers that are like, I used spider tack.
Can you get a towel? Can you get a towel or something to clean up your disdain for Gerrit Cole?
I mean, I'm making perfect sense here. Like, there are, like, Garrett Cole used spider tack, whereas other pitchers, if they wanted a grip, if you use sunscreen and rosin, you would be the first to say those are wildly different substances that do completely different things for a competitive advantage. Like, I would be, if I was sitting at Thanksgiving dinner and I was meeting my girlfriend's family for the first time, and they, like, jokingly were like, hey, do you got, like, a police record or something? I would be more comfortable saying, yeah, I got busted smoking a little weed before, sunscreen and rosin, versus, like, here, got a police record? Yeah, actually, I used to do meth, and I got caught doing that, but thanks for letting me fuck your daughter. Like,
whoa,
it's a completely different conversation. Like,
well, it would have to be. Like, do you go to dinner with girls you're just banging? Like, because probably at a dinner with somebody you care about.
Well, I mean, if it's my girlfriend, I would still, like, you're still fucking their daughter, are you not?
You're probably making love, I'd like to think.
No, I fuck.
So does that Braves lineup.
Yeah, it does. Who's your favorite hitter in the Braves lineup?
I just who's my favorite hitter in the Braves lineup?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it was Ozzy.
He's fine. There was no fracture.
So then it's still Ozzy.
Yeah, it is.
I just love his game. I love that he's like
he's a little
shit talker to Acuna. I love Ozzy Albies.
Yeah. Did you see that I've started a campaign to get Austin Riley on this podcast?
Yeah, I'll just like it every time. Or should I
I think he's more of an Instagram guy. Like that's what people keep saying is like you got to hit him up on Instagram because on Twitter he's less likely to see it. And I was like, well, I don't know how true that is because every time that I'm going to tweet that I want Austin Riley on the podcast and tagging him in it, like a lot of replies are going to flood his mentions from Braves fans saying go do it.
Well, it might be days before he checks it. You know, he could go 2 days without checking his Twitter.
Maybe.
So
We'll see.
I'd love to talk to Austin.
Yeah, he's on notice right now.
He is on notice.
Yeah,
All right,
you've
so
been-
AL
you've been
Cy Young.
selected.
That's our AL Cy Young convo. And
Who the fuck did I pick before the season?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I thought it was Giolito.
Was it? I feel like I've done that before. I try not to double up on picks.
Because I know that I went Giolito the year before, Bieber last year,
Yeah.
and I think you were like opposite of that.
Yeah, I don't know. I just
think
know
you
that
were
I don't
Bieber,
pick the
Giolito.
obvious. I don't pick the obvious, and I don't pick repetitive picks, which is how I ended up on fucking Aaron Nola this year.
Yeah. And Aaron Nola, unfortunately, Jared, is not on this list of NL Cy Young favorites. But
Yeah.
the guy that I told you was going to win the Cy Young is at the very top of that list, and that would be Walker Buehler, who is the minus 120 favorite to win the National League Cy Young
In
Award.
fairness, if I didn't have the no repeat picks rule, I would have picked Walker Buehler this year.
Well, in fairness, I think that's a name you could just stamp and
I
throw.
mean, he's never won. No, that's Jacob deGrom.
Yeah, but no, I mean, not stamp like you're going to win it, but to be in that conversation. Like
Yeah.
you like Walker Buehler and yes, DeGrom and Scherzer for a long time, right? Like those are names that you're just like, yes, Cy Young conversation, like he's going to be in consideration, like not just on the outside, but like yeah, we're talking top 3 contender, this dude. So Walker Buehler minus 120 fave. Corbin Burns.
Oh,
Corbin Burns.
that's where the fucking cash is at right there.
Well, what's interesting, or what's not interesting really at all, is that out of the 7 names on this list, 3 of them
Brewers.
make up 3/5 of the Milwaukee Brew Crew's rotation. Corbin Burns, plus 175 dog.
Talk to him.
Zach Wheeler.
Dallas, talk to him.
There could be some money there. There could be some money in the Zach Wheeler. I don't
No.
know.
No,
I feel
he
like Corbin
fucked
Burns
himself.
probably
No.
a leg up there. Some
Joe
value with that
Girardi
Corbin Burns.
fucked him.
Brandon Woodruff, plus 750. Kevin Gossman, plus 1,600. Scherzer, plus 1,800. And Freddie Peralta in the way back at plus 5K.
Without looking at the numbers, I'm just tasting it. I feel like Brandon Woodruff should have better odds than Zach Wheeler at this point. But I could be wrong. I'm not looking at numbers. I'm just tasting it.
Well, I mean, the money favors Woodruff. He's plus 750,
Zach Wheeler's plus 550.
550.
Yeah, I like Corbin Burns as a pick.
Yeah, there's value there. Value on the Corbin Burns pick. I didn't even I didn't take a look at the remaining schedule for the Brew Crew and like try to plot out the potential starts for Corbin Burns. But that's what I would recommend doing.
Yeah, we got a pretty light schedule. A lot of light work here. Besides, we finished with the Dodgers, but it doesn't fucking matter. Cardinals, Phillies, Indians, Tigers, Cubs, Cardinals again, Mets, Cardinals again.
Well, he's got 5 starts left, roughly.
I think they'll hold the innings against him, but I mean the low walk totals, the high strikeout totals. Yeah. I don't
how
know.
many innings is he at right now?
I think it was like 180 and change.
Corbin Burns?
Yeah.
So what do you mean they'll hold the innings against him?
Because there's dudes that have like fucking like 30 more innings than him. Am I making this up? Let's see. I'll tell you right now, Dallas. The innings. Okay, maybe I was a little off.
Yeah, who do you got?
Zach Wheeler has 182 and 2/3 innings. Where the fuck is Corbin Burns here?
Yeah, the innings thing is not going to be a...
Oh, Corbin Burns has 139 innings. The fuck? Yeah, he's 38th in the league.
Yeah, so I mean that but again,
They'll hold it against them, and that's unfair.
no. It's not unfair. It is the absolute fairest argument when trying to separate, because it's like, hey, I give you 2 more shots, 3 more shots to go out there. You can't tell me that you're coming back with 27 innings. You can't tell me that you're coming back with 30 punch-outs. You can't tell me that you're coming back with only 3 runs yielded. Like, you can't just tell me all of that, because I could easily tell you, you don't get a fucking out. Not only do you not get 27 of them, you don't get 1 of them. Like, you go out there and shit. Like, so that's why it's a matter of, hey, was he hurt? Was he? It's going to matter. The body of work is absolutely going to matter.
Yeah. I'd still vote for him. And that's why I'll never get a vote.
That is why you'll never get a vote. You'll
Yeah.
never get a seat at that table with that kind of attitude, Jared. But
But
what you can do is get an inside track on better seats
Yep. Where's that?
to wherever you may roam.
Yeah.
You know that today's video is sponsored by SeatGeek. And Jared, we've
Today's
worked with SeatGeek for quite some time. For a very long time.
Whoa.
Hey, you turn your screen down? It's a little too bright for me
goddamn.
on this end.
Yeah.
And we are very excited to be working with SeatGeek once again for this 2021 MLB season, MLB postseason, to be precise. We will be there. We will be on site, Milwaukee. Get it ready.
Yep.
Because we coming. Live events are back, and like we just told you, baseball has been back in action. What?
I'm going to get fucked up.
Let's go. Well, SeatGeek will have all the tickets for you, Carrabis. Whether it's baseball, football, you want to rage at a little private concert in Milwaukee, we can do that, and SeatGeek's going to help us get our tickets. Every ticket rated 0 to 10. Make sure you're getting a good deal. Super simple. Green, great deal. Hammer that. Red, keep looking. Do it again. Find a better seat. So, what we have right now is an unbelievable deal for you. Use code STARTING, that's starting, $20 off your first order. $20 off your first order with promo code STARTING. Just download the SeatGeek app, click the Me tab, and enter code STARTING, and you're rolling. Speaking of rolling,
for Milwaukee. Don't
We're getting ready
fucking
to-
cut me off when I'm talking about the Brewers.
I mean, time has come. Time has come and gone.
No, I mean we're talking about buying tickets and going to games. Like, I've never been to a Brewers game with you. It's almost like an intimate experience for me.
Going
It's
to
like
a
I'm not
Brewers
just
game?
I'm not just gonna bring anybody to
Oh,
a
yeah.
Brewers game. Like, I'm gonna take someone that is gonna appreciate it, and it is to me like sharing an intimate experience with someone. So I'm excited for it.
Would you be upset if I ended up getting shit-faced in the radio booth with Bob Uecker?
Well, I mean, Bob's my friend. So, I mean, if you're up there, that means that I'm up there. So,
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
Bob Uecker and I are related.
What?
True story.
What?
He has a fourth cousin that their family lived in Manteca.
What is that?
It's a town in California here.
Okay.
Out in Stockton.
All right.
And I guess I'm not, how should I say this? Technically related? Not bloodline related. But
Okay.
I have met Mr. Uecker at a family reunion once. I believe it was a family reunion. I was
Dallas.
like 10 or 11.
Dallas.
But he is the cousin or the fourth cousin of the set of brothers that I grew up with, the family that I eventually lived with when I was older. So
We've been doing this podcast for 5 seasons, all of which I have been a Brewers fan. And you're now just dropping that you ran into Bob Uecker at a family reunion.
yeah, well, let's not get it crazy, because I did start the story leading you to believe that I was directly related to Bob Uecker, and that's not true.
That's not true.
But the folks that I consider to be my family, the gentlemen that I refer to as brothers, the woman who I would consider to be the mother that stepped in after my mother passed away, their family with Bob Uecker. They are related to Bob Uecker. So it was
Got
their
it.
family reunion that I was at. But yeah. Old Ukes, babe.
I just almost said something and I held up there.
That you what?
I said I basically just like check swung at an incriminating story. Yeah, pointed down to first base. The umpire was like,
So you held up. Good job.
"Yep, yeah,
Good for you.
yeah." He started talking about family reunions, and I was like, "I got a story about a family reunion."
Whoa. Go ahead. Tell us, Jared. Tell us about the most raucous night in the sack you had with a girl you picked up at a family reunion, you fucking dirtbag.
You disgusting pig.
Oh, my God. Oh,
save
wow.
that-
You
I'll
hear
save
about
that
that
one
Carrabis
for,
family tree. No branches on that son of a bitch. Just
I'll
straight up.
save that story for maybe a night on the Spikes Up tour. After a
Oh,
long day
man.
on the road, got a couple of dark and stormies in me, and I'll maybe bust that one out.
Oh, that is glorious.
Check swing.
That is glorious. So wait,
He held up.
who'd you say your aunt was again? Oh my
That's
God,
not
I gotta
blood.
go. I gotta
That's not
go.
blood at all.
Wait,
Some big
how are
series
you
coming up.
spelling it? Is it with 2 L's? Oh, go fuck. I gotta go. Oh my God.
Yeah, that'll be tune in February, mid-Feb, early March, and we'll see what happens.
That's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Let's do a little housekeeping. We got a little housekeeping here.
Yeah,
Kenta Maeda,
he's getting cleaned
out.
up.
TJ.
Wait, where the fuck are you? You're not even like you just skipped a whole section ahead.
That's because we'll go back to that. That's why I said a little housekeeping. Then we can go back.
All right.
Yeah, Kenta Maeda out 9 to 12 months. Kind of brutal. Sucks for the Twins. Sucks for him.
Yeah, it's not like they were going to contend to it.
We've also got, we already kind of mentioned it, but Lance Lynn, Lucas Giolito, Both those guys hit the shelf. Tim Anderson also hits the shelf, little hamstring injury. Both Giolito and Tim Anderson with hammies. Lance Lynn down with some knee inflammation. This is the benefit to having the kind of lead that they do in the division right now, is being able to rest these guys. But as I mentioned before, what the White Sox will have to battle is now health, it appears. Trying to get healthy at the end of the season isn't always the easiest thing to do. And having to ratchet it up because you feels like you haven't played a super meaningful baseball game in a while. And that's going to change here soon. And you'd like to be healthy for that. But you'd like to be playing meaningful baseball games going into the most meaningful part of the season.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, that's that.
Yeah, the White Sox get bit by the injury bug here.
Just brutal. Not a great time of year for that to happen.
No. Not a great time to have a COVID outbreak either, but shit. You know, sometimes shit do be happening, as they say. So you've got the injury bug with the White Sox, Lynn, Giolito, TA. You've got the COVID bug with the Red Sox. I don't need to name names. It's the whole fucking team, even though they're beating Tampa right now 4-0 in the fifth.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that, do you?
If the Red Sox split this fucking series, that's going to make a lot of people start believing in God that currently didn't believe before.
Well, it doesn't feel like it should have happened, especially after the shit that they've dealt with the last few days.
And how they played in the first two games.
Yeah, it should absolutely be a 3 or 4 for Tampa. It doesn't look like that's going to happen.
Oh, Dallas. This should have been a 4-game sweep. Like, I'll tell you right now, this, especially since, Chris Sale went yesterday and Wander Franco. Did you see that homer that Franco hit?
No.
It was like fastball up and out of the zone, had no business being hit for a home run. I mean, Franco's been on some kind of run recently, like an on-base streak. He's been fucking awesome for like a little over a month now. But by the way, on the subject of the Tampa Bay Rays, and there's this guy. I'm not going to name his name just yet. I haven't decided yet if we're gonna give him a platform.
Pussy.
But he's like, his whole thing on Twitter is that he's trying to prove that there is a market for Tampa Bay Rays baseball, that it's the ballpark, like trying to basically put forth the narrative that, hey, Rays fans are out here. We just need a ballpark that actually is in Tampa that fans can get to, and here are the numbers to show that, and here all this other shit. So I don't even know if the interview is really necessary because we have most of the information here. But earlier today, we saw the Tampa Bay Rays TV ratings, which was interesting to me. Wednesday night's Rays game versus the Red Sox was the most watched regular season Rays baseball game in the past 4 years. The 4.7 on Bally Sports Sun shattered viewership highs for the team this season and drove our network to a number 1 in prime rank locally. So just for context, those numbers are like blowing out the Tampa Bay Lightning, who draw 20,000 fans. So if we're going based off the TV ratings here, more people in the Tampa Bay market, like almost double, are watching the Rays. And yet everyone wants to point to, well, there's no Rays fans because look at the attendance figures. The ballpark sucks. The location of the ballpark sucks. They're the Tampa Bay Rays, and their ballpark is in St. Petersburg. Most people in Tampa have to drive an hour just to get there. So the fans are there. And then I think it was Brett Phillips who they interviewed him before this Red Sox series, and what he said made perfect sense. He was like, this franchise was created in 1998, and you're starting to see, like, all the people that lived in Tampa when the Rays were first created, they were all transplants. They were all like Red Sox fans from up north and Yankee fans from up north and Cardinal fans, and they relocated to Florida And then the Rays came along in 1998, and all those snowbirds had children and raised them here, and now they grew up with the Rays. So now those kids from the 90s, they're now in their early 20s, and they are Rays fans. They've been Rays fans their whole life because they grew up there, and they actually have an emotional connection to the team instead of being like a 30-something-year-old that relocated to the area and already had a favorite team when the Rays came along. So it's almost like we hatched these little Ray fan eggs in 1998, and they're finally growing up to becoming these beautiful Ray fan birds.
Well, that's how long
that's
it was
what we're seeing now.
That's how long it was going to take. You got to understand.
Yeah.
They're not going to be paying attention because how long has it been? 98.
98, 23 years?
18, 19, 20, 21. We got 23 total years of a franchise in existence.
Mm-hmm.
You can cut the first 10 years off of that in terms of fan base buildup and existence, because those snowbirds having children, it took them 10 years to grow up and be old enough to be a fan of something.
Right.
And then from there, that's where you've got the other 13 years worth of fandom.
Yeah.
And the fact that they've been in the same spot helps that much of it. But the fact that they've been in the spot they're in has also put a cap on their ability to grow that fan base anymore. Because
and you have to consider like how many baseball fans grow up, or just sports fans in general. You grow up and you adopt the favorite sports teams of your parents. It's
your
like, well,
parents,
my dad's a Giants fan, so I'm a Giants fan. Like, it's just how it is. It's like how do you become a Red Sox fan when you live in Cleveland? It's like, oh, well, my dad was from Boston, and so like we moved out here like when I was really little, but my dad's a Red Sox fan, so I just naturally became a Red Sox fan. It's like, well, that shit happens all the time, where you just adopt your parents' favorite teams instead of being a fan of the team that you were geographically close to.
Yeah,
so you've got that uphill battle as well.
The fact that they, and again, you get plopped down in the region you're in, snowbirds, like they're not interested in driving an hour to go to the game that starts at 7, because let's be real, we're probably an hour and a half past dinner time. And like the 7th inning stretch, they've been in bed for an hour and a half. So you're just not getting a ton of people. Like you're not motivating 25,000 people on a nightly basis to come out to that game in that region. Not until now would you start to have some of those folks who were born back then, have grown up, are young enough now to maybe even having started to have children of their own, that they'd like to have family moments at the ballpark. Well, it's there, but give them something accessible, and there's a solid chance you see those numbers change.
Due to geography, density, and infrastructure, Tropicana Field has the lowest population within a 30-minute commute out of all 30 Major League ballparks, and has approximately half of the 30-minute population of the next lowest team.
Yeah, so that's like looking at a map and going, all right, what's the least populated area around here? Right there? Great. We're going to put the ballpark there. Well,
Yeah.
it takes a long time to get there. Even better. There's nobody there, and it's going to take a fuck ton of time and a massive headache and traffic to even get to it. Sounds great. It's just a terrible idea.
They quite literally took a look at a map of Florida and said, where is the fucking most inconvenient place that we can drop a ballpark for this brand new franchise? And they're like, right here. All right, build it. And also make it look like shit.
Done. Done and done.
Brilliant. I love it.
They nailed it.
They really did. I mean,
Same group.
if that was how the meeting went, they fucking crushed it.
Yeah. When's your next project? Hired.
Yeah. I mean, I still want to go there. I don't know, like, if they're ever going to get into a ballpark.
I've said
I wanna
many
go
times it's a place that I hold near and dear to my heart.
Why?
Love the Trop. Love the Trop. It's dingy. It's just,
It's got character.
yeah, it's just not good. not a good place to play baseball, but it is a
I
place.
still want to go there. I did the fucking the rock paper scissors thing with Tyler Glasnow, and I beat him. So he has to jump in the Rays tank. I mean, now is the perfect time to do it, because if he gets like stung by a stingray, then he's not going to miss time because he's already out for a year.
They take their barbs out.
All right, then perfect. He's there. He's at no risk. Get in there.
Yeah, I think their barbs are out. If not, hey, oh well.
Oh well, you lost the bet, dude.
Right. You got ice. You'll be fine.
Yeah, you shouldn't have made the bet. Some series coming up this week. By the way, great segment on the Tampa Bay Rays. Good for us. That was good starting nine quality content.
We do have some series coming up. I
We do.
mentioned the Athletics taking on Robbie Ray and the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
A's. Why is that important? Well, they're two games back in the AL wild card.
Yeah.
And it's important for the Jays because, as I mentioned, they're 4.5 back in the AL wild card. They're not throwing in the towel. They are not throwing in the towel.
Jays?
We've got Maeda Manoah on Friday. I believe we got Robbie Ray, Paul Blackburn on Saturday, and then Sunday is Cole Irvin Ryu.
What do you got Robbie Ray getting in free agency?
Ooh.
He's up after this year, I believe.
Yeah.
He gets a hundo. Jorge Soler. There they go, fucking again.
What about, I don't know. I don't know if he gets a hundo. I could see him getting like a,
balls to say that.
what's that?
You don't have the balls to say that?
I could see him getting like a 3 for, I don't know, 3 for 60, 70, somewhere in there.
I could see him getting a hundo. It's a weak class, I think, for pitching.
What do you think? Because what's going to be the qualifier? 19, 18, 19?
Yeah. So he'll turn that down. Someone's gonna pay that boy.
Yeah. What do you, I mean, between 20 and 25 a year? Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
But that's a great series to watch, if I may say so.
I'm gonna be locked in for the whole fucking thing.
Another wonderful series to pay attention to, Jared.
Is
The Redbirds, baby. The St. Louis Cardinals taking on the Milwaukee Brew Crew. Cards just 2.5 out of that NL wild card spot. And the Crew, well, they lead the Central by about a half month or so.
I'm gonna say something right now that might upset Cardinal fans.
Be careful.
They might be within 2.5, but it doesn't feel like it. Like it,
Perfect.
There are teams that when they get within 2.5, like when
Sleep
the
on.
Dodgers were within 2.5 of the Giants, you could hear that Jaws theme. The Cardinals getting within 2.5 of the Reds, I don't have that like oh fuck here they come feeling. I just don't. I don't.
Why not?
Cardinals.
Paul Goldschmidt
negative
rolling
21
the
run
pole,
differential. I mean, even still, like at their hottest, they're still like a smidge above mediocre. And I'm not a Cardinal hater.
Look, I feel it feels like you are, if I'm being real.
I'm not.
No, I think
I'm
you
not.
are.
You know, this is your fault. Like, my brain is automatically trained to hate any team that you support, and I don't want to hate the Cardinals.
Well,
I don't want to hate the Pirates. I don't want to hate the A's.
You've done a good job of doing it. Nobody's led you. Nobody's made you drink this water.
What have I done that's been hateful to the Pirates?
Where you just continually bash a front office that is no longer there. So I
I love Ben Cherington. Ben Cherington is a dear friend of mine. He has been for quite some time. Over a decade of friendship with Ben Cherington. You think I want to see him fail? No.
Well, I'd be fooled otherwise. I'm telling you.
I love some Ben Cherington. And I do hope that we live to see the day that the Pirates win a World Series, because I just want to see you get one. And sadly enough, I think
it's been a while.
Out of your fandoms, you've got the Oakland A's, obviously, and you've got the Pittsburgh Pirates. For as good as the A's are right now and as dreadful as the Pirates are right now, is it bizarre for me to say that I think the Pirates win one before the A's do?
Yes. Yes, it's bizarre.
Why?
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 Because the A's have a window right now.
It doesn't matter. They just don't.
They've got a window.
The A's are always a non-factor. The Pirates might just fucking do something with all these picks that they've been compiling for the last 15 fucking years, and maybe, just maybe, Ben Cherington will be the reason why they stop getting fleeced in trades for prospects. But I don't know. I think I would love to see what the Barstool Sportsbook would put together for odds on that. Who wins a World Series first? Is it the A's or the Pirates?
Just a fucking 25-year ongoing future.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like that's a ticket that gets passed down through generations.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, Grandpa bet on this.
Yeah, I give
Pirates.
my firstborn that ticket on her wedding day.
Yeah. Like, put it this way, the Oakland A's last won a World Series the year that I was born.
Yeah.
That was the last time they got it done.
Eons.
When's the last time the Pirates won a World Series? 1979.
I was going to say 77.
Yeah, they've got 5. 1909, 1925, 1960. That was the Bill Mazeroski one, right?
Maz.
71 and 79.
Shout out the Buccos.
Yeah. I think they do it. I really do. I think
I
they
mean,
get it
I don't
done.
want to wish against it.
No.
I'll take a ring either fucking way.
Sure. And to be honest with you, Dallas, and I hope that you feel the same way about me and the Brewers, if the Pirates win a World Series, I hope that they include you in the festivities. I do. I hope that Pittsburgh embraces you the way that Milwaukee has embraced me.
Well, you got to understand, I'm in a little different spot, Jared. It's not necessarily easy for an organization to embrace an employee of another organization.
No, I don't. I mean, I'm an unpaid employee of the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, it'd just be tough for the Pirates to. I don't see the Pirates front office clearing the expenses for me to come out and have a good time and enjoy the festivities.
They don't have it's not about paying for it. It's about including you and embracing their. I mean, can you name one celebrity Pirates fan?
No.
One.
No. No.
All right, then you're it.
I cannot. There's
like they're gonna want. They might give you the owner seats. You might be sitting next to the fucking Pirates dugout for Game 1 of the Division Series if and when they make the playoffs.
Well, they already let us in the dugout during a spring training game, like during the spring training game.
Yeah, like we basically were on the team.
Like you were on the. I'll never forget.
I was like, what the fuck?
You just like, dude, is this Like, is this real?
Yeah,
are they fucking,
we definitely shouldn't be allowed to do this.
Yeah, are they playing a game right? We're on the fucking field right now.
We were walking down the fucking foul line during gameplay.
Somebody made a diving catch in center field. I forget who it was.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Yeah, it's great. Anyways, another series coming up. This one, A's fans also pay attention to. And, of course, Padres fans, Reds fans, Astros, Padres.
Where the fuck are you going? Oh. Duh.
Just right there. Just right
Yeah, it was like you kept naming like NL West teams, and I was like, why the fuck did the A's care about this series? Oh, the Astros. Got it.
Yes, that matters. That matters with the Astros maintaining a 5-game lead over the Oakland A's in that AL West division. This is a series that they pay attention to, much like any series the Astros will play for the remainder of the season. I haven't looked at the probables.
Wait, shout out to the Mariners. Back-to-back shutouts against the Houston Astros, and one of them being a 1-0 shutout.
Yeah.
I saw that you made the video about Abraham Toro.
Yeah, can we talk about that for a minute?
Can we? Yeah, I'd love to talk about that. Let's talk about our Mariners. Let's talk about America's team.
Well,
let's talk about our Mariners.
Those are absolute. That's you. That's full of semen over there, not me.
Nope, we all are. We are all drowning in semen. 3.5 games back of the Boston Red Sox right now. Do they play tonight? They do not.
No. But Abraham Toro, if you remember, Abraham Toro, Kendall Graveman, Mariners playing outstanding baseball at the time. And what do the Mariners do? They trade Kendall Graveman, who was having an all-star worthy campaign. And not only did they trade Kendall Graveman, they traded him to the division leading Houston Astros, who they just so happened to be playing at the time. So game 2 goes down, and Kendall Graveman traded for Abraham Toro. And there's some other guys involved, but the idea is like you just show up at the ballpark tomorrow, but instead of taking a left, you take a right. And you no longer go to that same clubhouse. You don't have to touch anything because the boys inside are going to pack it up and just walk it right down the hall. So Abraham Toro shows up and had hit a homer in the game prior to being traded, and then hit a homer that very next day, which was awesome. But fast forward to that game the other day where Toro, now a Seattle Mariner, squares off against Kendall Graveman, now a Houston Astro, and Toro hit a grand fucking slam. Bango. Beautiful. Only in baseball. Only in the game of baseball, Jared, will shit like that happen. That's just bananas.
It was wild. Did you see it live?
I did see it live. Lost my shit.
Yeah, I want to say that night would have been, what's today? Today's Thursday, so that was what, Tuesday? Monday, Tuesday? It was the last game on.
Yeah.
It was the last game on the slate. So if you're one of those tune in for all the games guys, then you had that one full sound, and it was beautiful. I enjoyed it.
It was epic.
Yeah. And then we already talked about this, but Dodgers-Giants will be this weekend in San Francisco. Who do you got?
Let me think about this. Yeah, I've got the Dodgers coming out in first place. I've got the Dodgers coming out at the end of this series, leading the NL West by 1 game.
Okay, so you've got Giants 2 out of 3. I mean, Dodgers 2 out of 3.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
And you know what?
That's fair.
I just may swing by the old ballpark.
You're going to go.
I mean,
when's the last time you went to a non-A's game as a fan?
A non-A's game as a fan.
As a fan. Was it the World Series with me?
Probably. I'm trying to think if I've taken my wife, if I just took my wife and the girls to a Giants game while we've been out here. I don't think that's happened, though. No, Dodgers games. My wife and I go to Dodgers games to go watch Kershaw because the seats I get are
When the fuck did you go to Dodger Stadium?
What do you mean? I go to Dodger
You don't-
Stadium often.
You've never. You don't call. You don't text.
Bitch, you're
you don't-
2,000 miles away.
You've never like sent me a picture. Nothing.
I
I'm not
post
saying
them.
for the invite. I'm just saying like you. I've never seen you at Dodger Stadium as a fan.
I post them. Like we go and I mean, come on. If I go to a ball game, and if it's just me and my wife, we are there to watch the fucking baseball game. Like I'm locked in. Where I sit field level, lined up with the lefty, so he's facing me, and I'm into the ball game. My wife's having a great time, just pounding all the luxuries. But that's probably the last time.
Okay. Do you usually throw in like a teaser when you go to the games there?
Well, they've got
Because you can't do that on the broadcast, obviously.
They've got a litany of adult beverages to choose from there at Dodger
Yeah.
Stadium.
Yep.
And what I like to do is throw these fucking teases in, get a little crazy with a cocktail or two, spice shit up. Because they got margaritas out there. They got martinis out there. Throw a little fucking mango hob piece, tease and teeny in, bang. Carrabis.
You know, it was really cool.
What?
When you said bang, I had the Jorge Soler highlight of his homer up on my laptop, and when you said bang, it synced perfectly with him launching his 6th home run in his last 12 games.
See, when baseball's in your DNA, shit like that just happens.
Yeah,
You're
it
just
does.
You're just naturally tied. Like, you know when awesome shit like that's happening. It's queued up. It's something you can't control. It's an involuntary contraction, much like enjoying Teasa pouches are. It's involuntary. You put it in your lip, you're going to have a good time. This is a way to help yourself focus, right? Dragging ass, tired of coffee, tired of slamming an energy drink, tired of doing that whole thing. Well, no, look, we got powerful herbs, powerful vitamins, all jam-packed in a little energy pouch to help get you through the day. Look, in the highlights, obviously, no tobacco. Big benefit. No nicotine. Even bigger benefit. 0 calories for all of you counters out there. And you obviously, you know, it's not messy. You don't have to spit this shit. Swallow it. Good to go. And so for a limited time, the first 100 of y'all, the first 100 members of the Grounds Crew to purchase $50 or more at TeasaEnergy.com and use the code WELLS, you're going to get a free signed Teasa hat. That's right. Dotted up, John Hancock all over it. You will get it. Again, the first 100 of you to purchase $50 or more at TeasaEnergy.com and use the promo code WELLS, you're going to receive a free signed Teasa lid. Don't miss out.
Love that. All right. That's it. Besides fucking Zach Scott getting banged on a Dewey.
Oh, the Mets.
Mets can't get out of their own way. It is what it is. I mean,
Honestly, at this point, shout out to the players. Because much like
they're
the Oakland
still trying to keep
A's,
a positive attitude.
much like the Oakland A's, there's some things that you just know that are you're going to have to accept. There's just things that you know go a certain way. And whether you can control it or not, you pay attention to the stuff that you can. Mets players, they have to do that. They have to be mentally strong. They have to be focused. They have to be playing this game for each other. Otherwise, it seems like everybody around them is just not making decisions. And look, a lot of that statement that I just made has a lot to do with the old regime. Understood. But it feels like it's just been a long time where the Mets players have just had to sort of focus on themselves and not worry about outside distractions coming from within their own walls.
I mean, one thing I'm not going to do is do like the finger wagging for like a DUI. Not that I have one. I don't. Not that I drink and drive. I don't. I'm actually terrified of it because I have been like super critical of people that have done that in the past. I'm like, all right, well, now you put yourself in a spot where you're going to be terrified to get behind the wheel even if you have like one beer. So like, all right, I will be Ubering for the rest of eternity, or just not drink. I don't even really drink that much anymore, to be honest with you. But I think one thing that we can say is that the Mets as an organization need an exorcism, because this many bad things, like not just like bad things, like they're bad. They're all. It's not like it's one thing after another in the same sort of area. It's just like bad thing over here, bad thing over there, bad thing. Like they're covering all the bases of, sexual misconduct, DUI. They're fighting each other. They're collapsing on the field. Like it's one thing after another. And I can't in any sport really pinpoint another organization that has shit like this happen to them all the time. Every year. All the time. Can you? Like in any other sport?
No. It's not even close. And I made the comment that, Sandy Alderson, who's now going to have to step in and take over these GM duties for the time being, has had a lot to do with like this organization and trying to reshape it. And unfortunately, it feels like this has happened during his time there. And it's not saying that this is his fault, but it's like, to your point about the exorcism, like, do you gut the whole fucking thing?
No, I don't even think it's really that. It's because we've talked about the talent on that roster. They're a very talented team. We just it's like I said, you need an exorcism. You don't need to make baseball decisions. You need to make decisions with the higher powers. That's what you need to do to fix the Mets, because the talent's there. There's a reason why everyone was super fucking excited coming into this season. It wasn't because of Francisco Lindor, like it was just one fucking deal or something like that. No, that wasn't it. Red Sox third base coach just punched Devers in the face.
Probably deserved it.
Well, he's mouthing off to the umpire, so he's trying to like push him back towards the dugout, and he's not going. And it's like, I respect the effort of Carlos Fabulous, because the Red Sox are beyond short-staffed, and it's like, dude, if you get kicked out, we just lost our third baseman and shortstop.
Yeah, not good.
Not good. But hey, still winning.
Still 4-0 in the fifth?
It is. It's 4-0 in the seventh.
Wow.
Top 7.
Some early contact. I like it.
Yes.
All
yeah.
right. Final thoughts?
Final thoughts. You know what? I feel like I feel like I interjected with my final thoughts throughout the podcast. Things that I would save for the final thoughts part of the podcast, I feel like I was just like, oh, hey, by the way, blah, 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 blah. Well, I was all over the place today, but I like that.
I'll say this. We do got to give a little love to Gerrit Cole. Why?
We already did.
No.
What the fuck? We did a whole segment on the Cy Young Awards and talked about Gerrit Cole.
Because he's been punching the fucking world out. And, Jared, anytime you wear a Yankee uniform and you set an organizational record.
They don't even have, like, good pitchers historically.
It's a big deal.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
You know what? That's my take. That's my final thought. Big fucking deal. Like, no, out of all the Yankee retired numbers and all the Yankee legends and all, like, the Monument Park, how many of those guys are pitchers? Mariano Rivera, Ron Guidry, like Mike Mussina, who's an Oriole, by the way.
Mussina, David Cone.
David Cone had one good game. They fucking retired Roger Maris's jersey because he had one good year.
Is Catfish out there?
Yeah, I mean, like, trust me, pitching records do dick for me in Yankee history. They've got no history of like a long lineage of outstanding Hall of Fame pitchers. That's just a fact. All
Well,
the all-time great Yankees.
You guys had a really good hitter and pitcher a while ago, but you sold
Let me
them.
ask you this, Dallas. If you were to
sold them.
power rank the greatest Yankees of all time, how soon before you got to a pitcher?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe not as long as you think.
No, it would be pretty long. You'd be waiting around for a while because if we're talking starting pitchers, because obviously Mo Rivera would be up there.
Why? What's that?
I said Mariano Rivera would be up there, and they would try to claim Roger Clemens, but fuck you, he's not a Yankee.
Why is
He's
he
a Red
not?
Sox. I mean, how can you be a Yankee when you're the all-time wins leader of one of the most historic and longest lasting franchises of sports? You're not a Yankee.
How many championships did he win in Boston?
I mean, like he should have won in 1986.
No, but did he? How many did he win? How many
and
did
he,
he? The ones that he won.
Dallas,
The ones that he
could
won
have won
is what I
two.
want you to count in
So
Boston.
let me
The ones that he
learn you
won in
something.
Boston as a
In
Red Sox.
1986,
He
the
did
Red
not
Sox
win
should have
one.
won that World
But
Series.
he
That would have
didn't.
been one.
But he
In
didn't win that one,
2007,
so he's at
when
zero.
Roger Clemens was deciding between signing with the New York Yankees, the bum-ass Yankees in 2007, or the Boston Red Sox, that would have been two. But he
it
picked
wasn't.
the Yankees. Why? Because they paid him more money, and Roger's got to get that bag. And I respect that. But the answer to the question is that Roger Clemens should have 2 championships with the Boston Red Sox. 2.
No. The question was how many does
Not
he
his fault.
have?
Not his fault.
That was the
Not his
question.
fault. Not his fault. So
And I believe he has 2.
Andy Pettit
right?
is up there. But how soon would you get to Andy Pettit when going down the list of all-time
Did he
Yankee
win
greats?
those with the Yankees? He did. Yeah, I don't
Andy
know.
Pettit was better with the Astros.
So I just wanted to congratulate Garrett Cole
I
on
forgot how he got here, but
passing David Cohn, who had
Yeah.
207 strikeouts
ooh,
through the
what'd he
first
fucking
25
do?
starts.
That's like 2/3
New
of the
York
Chris
Yankee.
Sale season.
Garrett
Ooh,
Cole
two-
has 215
200.
strikeouts through the
Wow.
first 25 starts.
If Chris Sale struck out 215 batters in a season, he would probably retire. He'd be like, I don't got it anymore.
I don't know. Between him and Cora planning those off days, he might never get to that number.
Well, I mean, he was hurt, Dallas.
Hurt?
You would
Victim
think
of-
with your history, you'd be a little more sensitive to that. No,
Victim of planned off days. Well, it wasn't the planned off days that got me. It was not enough of them, apparently.
that's what I'm saying. So, like, oh, sorry that the Red Sox are actually doing something to prevent what happened to you.
Some would consider it.
You're
they
on a
put-
fucking
Some would consider they
podcast
put
right
a
now.
leash
Chris
on him.
Sale still has a
I don't like to
chance
think about it that way.
pitch a little.
I'd hate to
longer in
think
his
that the
big
Red
league
Sox are
career.
a team not letting a guy like Chris Sale live up to his potential. That's just
No, he's living up to it.
they only let him
he's
go
living
6
up to
innings last time. It's tough. That's probably
Yeah,
had
he's
more
been
than
pretty
10,
good.
but
It's actually been really good since he came back.
can understand.
Blowing 98. He actually on the post game press conference he called them "fuck you fastballs," which I love.
Yeah, they are.
Love that he dropped that.
Good.
So
When's he pitch again? He just pitched.
yeah, he just beat the Rays yesterday. They're best team in the American League. I think they lead the league in runs too.
Oh. We'll be seeing you soon, Jared.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Monday and enjoy the weekend baseball. A lot of good matchups, and I'm just saying the tone of the podcast on Monday largely depends on the outcome of this Giants-Dodger series in San Francisco. Largely.
Fair. Yeah, and I'd say the A's are going to need to handle some business up north as well. But yeah, Monday we may even attach a phone number to the podcast so I can hear
Ooh.
all those whining fucking Giants fans as I lap up your tears from a wild card fan base.
Wow. Bold.
Wow!